Okay, welcome back to the Yoga Cafe. We are continuing on with our exploration of how to balance emotions using our movement, using our intention, and also using energy work. So we're going to move on today, and this practice will be focused on cleansing the liver organ system and then nourishing the lung organ system. So most of what we'll be doing will be standing. If you get fatigued, you always have your trusty chair. You can do a lot of this stuff in the chair. There'll be a few things that maybe won't work quite so well in the chair. You'll have to figure out a better way to modify those. But if you can do the standing, they are very beneficial. You will need, in addition to your trusty chair, you'll need a pillow and either a beach towel or a blanket for the end of the practice. Okay? So gather your props, come to your standing position, and we'll get started. Oh, and I should mention, always have water when you're doing this emotional balancing stuff. All right. So we'll begin in our Wu-Ji stance. Wu-Ji is the term from the Taoists that refers to a stance that is very neutral throughout all of the joints. So take a moment to place your heels underneath your hip joints and then rock your weight back into your heels. Unlock the knees and then sit down ever so slightly with the hips. So there's a hint of a pelvic tuck, but nothing so extreme as an actual pelvic tuck. And at the same time that you drop the hips slightly down, you're lengthening up through the top of your head and the back of your skull and letting the arms simply hang off your shoulders, wrists and fingers relaxed. So you're welcome to kind of shift your weight around and really explore, well, does this feel like neutral through my ankles and knees and hips and spine, shoulders, arms, fingers, right? Or maybe I need to be leaning one way or standing a different way. So the target of neutral is a moving one by design, and I want you to continue to explore it in your body throughout this practice and throughout your life. So standing in that Wu-Ji stance, let's begin with the breath and an image. Visualize a beautiful bouquet of flowers right in front of your face and just savor that inhale and exhale. These can be your favorite flowers, extra bonus points if they are the color white, as that is the color of the lungs. So you could think of a beautiful jasmine, white jasmine flower, or a white rose, or any other white flower that you enjoy. Let's take another breath here. And then we'll set that image off to the side for now. We'll come back to it later. For now, we're going to shift our weight over to one foot and pick up the other foot. If balance is tricky for you, you've got your chair. You can hang on to your chair so that you don't have to grip the floor so strongly with your toes. All right, go ahead and begin to circle your raised foot. Circle the ankle. finding your range of motion that is appropriate for you today. And then circle it in the opposite direction. And then set that foot down, and we'll switch to the other foot. So because we're going to be doing so much work standing, we want to make sure that we clear away any extra tension in the ankles. Rotate in the other direction. So I want there to be a nice even balance of the forces that work across the joint. All right, and set that foot down. And let's step the feet about as wide as the shoulders. Place your right hand on your right hip and begin to circle the hips around. Now you'll notice that both hips are circling, but today we're going to bring our attention just to the hip that the hand is on. So you're going to let that hip be the driver of these circles. How big, how fast, the shape, it'll all be determined by your right hip. So it's as if you could pour all of your attention into that right hip. Yes, the left hip is moving, but really the right hip is the spotlight. Now, same side, so still with the right hip, but let's go the opposite direction. So we're still just in the joint release or joint mobility portion of our practice. Okay, one more time around. And then before we go to the other side, come to center, release your hands, and observe the difference between the right and the left side. Even though both hips were moving, there's probably a little bit of difference between what you feel. All right, let's take the left hand to the left hip, and I'll let the left hip be the driver. So how fast, how big, and the shape. It's all determined by that left hip. One more time, this direction. And then we reverse. Last one. And then come to center, noticing left side, right side. Okay. Now we will place the ankle joints and the hip joints into the whole system as we move the spine, right? So these joints, I mean, the knees are also in there, but these joints are really going to be the drivers of our spinal movements now. So I'm going to turn sideways. You don't have to, but I just want you to see this. We're going to come into a practice called the wave, a spinal wave. So hands are just going to stay either on the hips or on the thighs. You begin just with a breath in. And then as you exhale, let your hips swing back, which takes your torso forward and down. And go down as far as you can comfortably. Then at the bottom, bend the knees a lot, tuck the tail, tuck the chin, and roll up. Now, as you're tucking, you keep tucking so the hips actually swing a little forward. And then unrolling the spine means that your head is now behind the hips. Yeah. So we go to fix that, to adjust that, and we bring the hips through the center line and then keep going and let that pull the torso down. So that's the exhale. And then inhale, you roll up and back. Exhale, the hips go back, which pulls you down. Inhale, you tuck the chin and tail and roll up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, roll up. You feel how the ankles and the hips play a really big role in this spinal wave. So good thing that we worked with them first. Inhale, rolling up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up. Let's do this whole cycle one more time. So you'll inhale, roll up, and then instead of letting the hips swing back, exhale, just swing the hips to neutral and come into your Wuji stance. See how that feels. Yeah. Okay, so from the waist down, or really from the neck down, along the spine, the hips, and the legs, we've addressed the different joints, but we haven't really addressed the arms. So we'll get to that now, which means I'll get a little closer. So we're going to start with the hands out to the sides. And you'll begin by rotating at the shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist on both hands. And then bringing your fingers up towards your shoulders, past the chest, down and out. And then at the end, unwind shoulders, elbows, wrists. So it's in, down and out, and then unwind. In, down and out, and unwind. And during that unwind, don't be passive. Really extend the fingers out away from the body. And what I'm hoping you experience is, it's weird to call it fascial stretching because fascia is woven into the muscles. So when we think of muscular stretching, we are stretching the fascia too. So this is just a different kind of fascial stretching. It's not quite as broad and diffuse as a muscular stretch. There's a little bit more like you're pulling on a tight cord. One more this direction. And then we'll reverse direction. So to do that, we're going to start by rotating the shoulder in, elbow in, wrist in, and then pull the wrists up and press the hands apart, almost like you're pushing your two walls apart. And as you extend, you keep the wrists flexed as you extend, and that I'm hoping will give you a little bit of that, almost like a cord pulling from the center of your chest out. Okay, so roll, pull the wrists up, and then press the palms out. Press the palms out from the center of your chest. Roll, pull the wrists up, and then press the palms up. Roll, pull the wrists up, press the palms out. Roll, pull the wrists up, press the palms out. Roll, pull the wrists up, press the palms out. Okay. Keep the right arm where it is. Place your left hand right along the collarbone, just below the collarbone on the right side. So we're only going to do the right hand now. So you roll, pull the wrists up, and then as you press your right palm out, feel as if you are tugging with your left hand to exaggerate that stretch. So roll, pull the wrists up, press the palm out away from your left hand. Roll, wrist up, press the palm out, roll, wrist up, press the palm out. Now let's do both hands again. Roll, wrist up, press the palms out, roll, wrist up, press the palms out. Now let's take the right hand on the left side of the chest. Same thing. Roll, pull the wrist up, and then as you press the palm out, feel as if you are really reaching away from where your hand is on your chest. Roll, pull the wrist up, press the palm out. Roll, pull the wrist up, press the palm out. Roll, pull the wrist up, press the palm out. Last time, roll, wrist up, press the palm out. And then once more, we do both arms. Press the palms out. Okay, and then just let your hands go. Let your arms go. See how that feels. And we'll conclude because there might have been some energy that got a little bit stuck in through the arms and through the hands. So we're going to conclude with a counter swing. So this is just a simple movement of arms go out to the side, and then you're going to twist. And as you turn, the hands are tossing whatever excess energy is not needed anymore. So it's inhale here, exhale. Inhale here, exhale. You could go faster too. As long as that feels okay for you. Don't want to get lightheaded, dizzy. Last one to each side. And then come back to center. All right, so hopefully it feels like you've addressed the joints from head to toe. Now we're going to come into our Wuji stance again. And this time we're going to place a pillow on the top of your head. Yeah. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see this from a different angle. Remember, in Wuji stance, your heels are right under your hip joints. Weight is back in the heels. And you're unlocking your knees and taking a very slight tuck to the pelvis. Arms just hang off the sides of the body or hang off the shoulders away from the body. And then you're pushing the top of your head lightly up into the pillow. So take a breath in here and kind of sink into that Wuji stance. Just soften it a little more. And then as you exhale, press the heels into the floor and your head into the pillow to lengthen the body. Inhale, soften, kind of a recoil action. And then as you exhale, really press into the fingers, into the heels, into your head. Inhale, soften. This action of pressing is what I'm reminded of when I see the stretch that a cat or a dog gives you after a nap. They go, yeah. So you're drawing in softening here, and then you're pressing everything back out, drawing in on the inhale, and then pressing back out on the exhale. Do that one more time. And then go ahead and remove your pillow. And we'll do the same thing, but with the hands in front of the body. So inhale and soften. And then as you exhale, press the hands down, push your head up into your imaginary pillow. And then inhale, soften again. The visual that I like to use here is I imagine I'm standing in some water, like hip waist deep water, and there's a log, a very buoyant log in front of me. As I exhale, I'm pushing that log down, which kind of pushes me up. Yeah. Inhale, you recoil, and then exhale, push down. Inhale, recoil, and exhale, push down. Do that one more time. Okay, and then just pause for a moment. Step the feet a little bit wider, so about shoulder width apart, and place the hands away from the body. And it's as if you are standing in water, and the fingertips are just touching the surface of the water. Okay. So same thing here, but the movement will be, the physical part of the practice will be very small. So it's an inhale, recoil, and then exhale, you press out through the fingertips, through the top of the head, through the feet. Inhale, recoil, exhale, press out. Keep going. And what I want you to visualize here is that as you inhale, you're pulling in with your fingertips the energy from the environment, like a capillary action. You're pulling it in. It's moving from the fingers up the arm, down the legs, into the heels. And then as you exhale, you're sending it back out through the fingers, from the heels all the way up and out. So inhale, fingers to heels, exhale, heels to fingers. Kind of like you're wringing out your energy. Wringing it out and then absorbing it again. And once more. Now keep going with the right side only. So just let your left hand lower and inhale just the right hand to the right heel. Exhale, right heel to the right hand. Inhale, right hand to heel. Exhale, heel to hand. So like we did before with the hip circles, the right side is the spotlight. Yeah, the left side is moving too, but we're really letting that right side shine, focusing all our attention on the right side. One more time. And then we'll switch. Inhaling from left fingertips to left heel, exhaling left heel to left fingertips. Inhaling left fingertips to left heel, exhaling left heel to fingertips. Inhaling fingers to heel, exhaling heel to fingers. Now, one side may feel quite different. I can tell you this is my less dominant side, so it already has a different feeling to it. It's subtler, quieter, cooler. The right side felt hotter to me. I have to use a little more attention to keep my mind anchored onto this left side. Once more like that. Okay. Now bring the hands in front of the chest, palms facing the chest. We're going to combine these last two exercises into a practice called splitting heaven and earth. So let's just remember the kind of pushing down on the waterlogged log. So inhale, soften, and then exhale, press down with your hands up with the top of your head. Inhale, soften, exhale, press down. Okay, inhale, soften, exhale, press down. Now, continue that action with the right hand while the left hand is going to press up. Yeah. Then inhale and we'll reverse. Left hand down, right hand up. Inhale, soften. Exhale, press down or up. Press out. Inhale, soften. Exhale, press out. Now inhale, soften. Left hand up, right hand down. Go side bend to your right. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, side bend to your left. And you'll notice that the hand that's pushing down is now going in a diagonal pattern towards the opposite heel. So if I'm side bending left, I'm reaching my left hand towards the right heel. And then if I'm side bending right, my right hand is pressing towards my left heel. So it's the same energetic pattern as before, except it's a diagonal or across the midline pattern. Exhale, press out, side bending. Inhale back to center. Exhale, press out. Inhale back to center. Once more to each side. Come back to center. And then last one, exhale, press both hands down. And then just shake everything out a little bit. Good time to get some water. All right. This next practice is similar to the wave that we did earlier, but we're going to add some very fluid arm movements. And I think the name of it is rowing a boat in the clouds or rowing a boat in the stream of air, something like that. So what I think of, my inspiration for how I move my arms here are those, you know, those inflatable dancing guys at in front of the used car lots, you know, that they have the air that's pushing up through them and they're just dancing around like that. So that's kind of in my imagination, that's how we're moving our arms this way. So let's start with the feet about shoulder width apart. And we'll just do the movement we did before to begin with, right? Inhaling here, exhale, hips go back, fold over, and only go about halfway. Then as you inhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tail, roll yourself up and back. Exhale, hips swing back, torso folds forward. Inhaling, roll up and back. exhaling, fold forward and down. Inhaling up and back. Exhaling, fold forward and down. Okay, then inhaling up and back. And then as you fold forward and down, let's see if the arms can come forward. And then inhaling, the arms circle in towards the body and out to the side and forward. Inhaling, like you're making big circles in the air around you. Scooping that air in, around, and out. In, around, and out. In, around, and out. Once more. And then just roll yourself up and bring the arms out, up, and then slowly fold or float the hands down. Torso stays upright. Okay. So we are going to conclude the energetic portion with a practice that nourishes the lung system. So stand, or if you want to sit at this point, if you're feeling fatigued, you can always sit down. Or stand or sit, and then begin, as we did before, with smelling a beautiful flower, the aroma of a beautiful flower. Bringing that into your system. And then as you exhale, just imagine that whatever that pleasure you derive from that smell gets stored in you. Take a few more breaths like that. Okay. Now we're going to bring the hands out in front, elbows kind of soft, palms facing out. And then as you open the arms, see if you can kind of angle the wrist a little bit so that you're leading with the thumb side. And then once you get to your open position, there's a slight movement forward of your chest. Not so much that you get that big stretch that we had before, but just the hint of it. Then turn the palms down. We're still angling the thumb side, and then the thumbs come in towards each other. So it's inhale, open, and then exhale, close. You're gathering on the inhale, pulling in that beautiful aroma, and then exhale, storing it, storing the pleasure of it. When the lung system is out of balance, this often happens if we're dealing with a lot of grief, loss, loneliness. We can even feel some physical manifestation through phlegm, congestion, hard time breathing. But a way to counter that is by nourishing the lungs. And when we nourish the lungs, we bring back a sense of wholeness. A reminder that beneath all the scars, beneath all the injuries and the imperfections, beneath all of that is a very pure, very whole, very perfect being. No matter how broken we may appear to be on the outside, this unbroken, very pure, very integrated self remains. So as we enjoy the aroma of the flower, we bring that pleasure back. We're reminded, oh yes, I can experience pleasure. I can experience joy, beauty. I am whole. Last time. And then as you complete this next exhale, let's cross the arms over the chest and just gently rock a little bit from side to side. And then switch the arm that's on top. Okay. So now we will move down to the floor. And this is where I would recommend that you bring in your pillow and either your blanket or your beach towel. You'll need the pillow for your head. And then your other prop, you want it to start kind of at a rectangular shape and then roll it from the from the widest side, roll it up. And just set it there for a moment. We're going to come into a restorative pose that is a chest opener. So if you are not used to working with this slight back bend in the upper back, you might need to make this roll a little bit smaller. I know it doesn't look like much, but once you lay your back over it, it can be pretty intense. And intensity is the opposite of what a restorative practice is meant to be. It's meant to be a very subtle stretching of the muscles and fascia so that it's kind of a passive traction experience so that you're able to stay in the posture for quite a while. All right. So if you get there and it doesn't quite feel like something you can hang out in for a few minutes, then feel free to come out, maybe re-roll your prop so that it's, only half of it is rolled up, something like that. All right. And then the position that you have where you place this prop is also really important to your experience. So what I like to do is make sure that the prop hits me just below the armpit. And what I mean by that is when I lay on the floor, it's going to be like right about there. Okay, not down here, the back of my waist, definitely not down at the low back, but way up here at the shoulder blade area. And sometimes this is actually how I go into the pose, is I just sort of lower myself back. And then the pillow is back there to rest your head. And if this feels like a big stretch on your low back, you can keep your knees bent, or you can extend your legs straight if that's feeling okay. But check it out. Take a few moments to see how it feels. Is this going to be something that you can sustain? Or do you need to readdress the placement or the height of your prop? And then once you have that squared away, we go back to that savoring breath. Like you're inhaling and smelling something so sweet. And because you're savoring the inhale, that exhale gets to be nice and long. You might try closing your eyes during this pose, since there's nothing really to see. And that can help you focus on your breathing a little more. But of course, if that doesn't work for you, it is always optional. And then we'll be here another minute or so. Unless you're done. If your body says you're done, you come out whenever you need to. And then to come out of this shape safely, if your knees aren't already bent, go ahead and bend your knees. And then rock over to one side, catch yourself, and gently push up. And this rolled up prop, we're just going to switch it around so that it's now underneath the legs when we roll back down onto the back. But don't extend your legs out just yet. We're going to come into knees to chest. And I like starting off with the hands behind the thighs. See how that feels. And then separate the knees a little bit wider than your rib cage. Take the feet up towards the ceiling and bring your elbows on the inside of the legs. Maybe you catch hold of your ankles. Maybe you catch hold of the bottoms of your feet or your big toes. Catch hold of something. This is our happy baby pose. And then you're welcome to rock a little bit from side to side. Or you could stay perfectly still. It's up to you. And then when you're ready, go ahead and release your legs and bring them to the floor. You can, again, keep your knees bent if your back is a bit tender, or you can extend your legs over that rolled up prop. And then extend the arms out to the sides, a little bit away from your body. And take a moment to see if this is the most comfortable you can be. If you need something like a pair of socks or a blanket or another prop or a different position, please, please take that. We're going to come into a short practice of yoga nidra. So I want you to be the most comfortable you can be. Once you've found that placement and propping of supreme comfort, again, you're welcome to close your eyes. Tune into your breath. Let your body remain relaxed here. The Yoga Nidra practice is one of the mind and energy, not a physical practice. In a moment, I will be calling out different parts of the body. You're welcome to let your attention rest on these areas briefly, but there's no need to move them, to flex them, to do anything physical with them. We are simply moving our awareness around the body. So now we begin the practice of Yoga Nidra. Bring your attention to the top of your head, tip of your nose, pit of your throat, right collarbone, right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, collarbone, pit of the throat, left collarbone, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, collarbone, pit of your throat, center of the chest, solar plexus, pubic bone, right hip bone, right thigh, knee, shin, right ankle, heel, sole of the right foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, sole of the right foot, heel, ankle, shin, right knee, thigh, hip, pubic bone, left hip, left thigh, knee, shin, left ankle, heel, sole of the left foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, sole of the left foot, heel, ankle, shin, left knee, thigh, hip, pubic bone, the whole left side, the whole right side, the whole back side, the whole front side, the whole body, your whole body. finishing up the practice of Yoga Nidra. You are welcome to continue resting here for as long as you need it. And when you are ready, bring your attention back to the surface of your skin, temperature of the air around you, the texture of your clothing and what you're resting on, sounds, smells, even the light behind your closed eyelids. Recall that image of a cat or a dog as it wakes up from a nap and how it stretches in all directions. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, and then as you are ready, stretch in all directions. Your whole body reaching. And then bend your knees, roll to your side, and slowly help yourself up to a comfortable seat. Taking a moment to breathe and tap into that sense of wholeness of the whole body, that deep core that is untouched by circumstances. Thank you. Peace.